He's up to level 4 in this path. It's a speech entitled New Year, New Path. We'll get to that in a moment, but the purpose of this speech is that Julie has to give a presentation and there are to be a number of disruptions or interruptions. Now, I have allocated certain people to perform certain disruptive roles during her speech. The purpose of this, of course, is for Julie to learn how to and to demonstrate how to deal with disruptive audience members. So, all of you have, I hope, had an opportunity to prepare what it is that you're going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, for a period of 10 to 15 minutes with her speech entitled New Year, New Path, please welcome Julie Kertesz.
When my daughter was 1 year old, she began to run around the room, all around the room, and touch everything. Sometimes when she went near a light bulb, we told her, no, no. So she doesn't put her fingers on it. But one day, because she was determined to try everything, she did. And after that, every time she went near the bulb, she looked at it from far away and she told, no, no. That happened to me almost 2 years ago when I first opened up Pathway. I did not know that was the first day the Pathway opened in District 27, and I was told to begin with Navigator. So I opened the Navigator, and what happened is something similar to my daughter.
Hello. I cannot answer now. I'm in a meeting right now.
Yes, thank you. And from then on, you can believe me, I acted like my daughter. I did not go near the Navigator anymore. For months and months, I went to base camp, I chose my path, I did many things, and then when I looked at the Navigator, I told another time, later. Then I went to Navigator and I chose my path, and I believed, because the written printed Navigator said that the printed manual has only a few electives. It didn't say it has no elective.
I had that same issue, Julie, when I was trying to select my Spanish path, that there were more options in the English path. But when I asked to the pathways to select some Spanish, then there were less paths than in English. That was something that...
Indeed. And now there are many Spanish and French. But I will tell you later that not everything is translated yet. And so last year, end of the year, we heard that we will have a new Navigator which will work also on iPhone. I was extremely excited and tried it out as soon as I could. Here is Toastmaster Navigator on iPhone. And I can tell you, as soon as I heard it works, I tried it out. And it worked. And it was beautiful and interesting. And so I learned that yes, the Navigator can be extremely interesting. It went so far that I could choose a path. After you choose a path, the navigator doesn't work anymore in mobile device, but now we have hope. It will change because things begin to change in Toastmasters. With the new year, we will have something exciting and new. And today, finally, the Toastmaster International Facebook page published it officially. The new humorous pathway path is coming in 5 January, exactly at Chinese New Year.
But the problem with the humor path is that how do you have leadership in the humor path? And that so many people are wondering, how can you have humor and then are you going to be in communication or in leadership? It is so confusing.
Of course, that is a very valid question. The leadership needs communication, and the communication needs humor. So it is normal to have together humor and leadership in one path. We will see how much new elective or projects we have, and it is only 4. Just don't think that with one path and 1 or 4 projects, you will be suddenly a humorous speaker. In order to have a skill, you have to practice. And every trainer knows that is not enough to tell people what to do until they do it. You cannot lead without some humor. And even more, because people sometimes ask you such a strange question, let's say like this, that you have to answer them with some funny answers or to look at it with comedian eyes. When someone came to me and told me, the VP told me I finished level 1 and I am just finishing my icebreaker, I become pathway detective and find out through Zoom and long speech with him what happened. What happened is that he believed the before and after self-evaluation is for reading, not for doing all the task. And he just answered to all of them because he wanted to prove he didn't change so much before and after. And so he finished all the projects in level 1, normal. The VP believed he really finished. But we have to find out what happened.
I'm not sure that it's up to us to try and find out what happened. I mean, isn't it the whole system is broken if that can happen? I mean, saying that we need to find out how that happens surely is blaming ourselves for something that's the system's fault.
Yes, you are also right. I don't think the whole system is bad, but indeed we have a lot more to change the human interface. But looking at the new navigator and looking also of the new things which came just out this year, I don't know if you had seen it. They are wonderful animation and explaining how an officer can use CC on Club Central on Toastmaster, and for everything there is an animation, an explanation, and also for the members. So I had seen that we progress. The progress is not as fast as we believe, not as fast as we hope, but it is there. And that is the most important. Of course, it would have been better a year ago already, but a year ago, Toastmaster was busy launching and launching and launching, and they put every manpower, every energy, at least on the surface, there. And it is also true that all the new things that come by, here I heard, here perhaps, and not announcing to everyone. Like the new humorous path, we begin to hear here and there, and we didn't know if it is sure until today. Today I forced the issue, or yesterday evening. Someone who wrote me and showed me a letter from Toastmaster International, which was signed by someone from the executive team. I told her, please, you publish on forum, in discussion forum, because the letter is official. But she waited. He waited from Singapore, and he waited until he pushed the Toastmaster International executive member to publish it on Toastmaster International Facebook page. This morning is there, and it is official, and everyone can read it. So we are going in a good direction, and that is the most important. I am looking forward this year to many improvements, but I love Pathway. That proves that I finished Pathway DTM end of November, and I finished 5 paths, and now I have 3 more, and I am still waiting for the new humorous path, and I will get it as soon as it arrives. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you for that. I thank you for your passion. I thank you for your enthusiasm. And I actually thank you for some of the information which even those of us who are scourers of Facebook were unaware of. The newly redesigned navigator, for example, that's really useful information, and I thank you for that. All right, and I thank you, by the way, to all of those who interrupted. You may have noticed, for example, that Mafud took a phone call in the middle of that, not something that you would normally expect to see happen. Both Michelle and I were being perhaps slightly argumentative. Thank you to Jose Luis for his question during that, and I'll talk about how Julie handled those in my evaluation. But in case you were wondering why we were being a bit rude to Julie, Asil, for example, hadn't heard the introduction, that's why. So, thank you very much, Julie, for your presentation. Now, one of the things that I love, Julie, and once again, I'll be calling for contributions from everybody, but I thought I'd start with just a few observations about the interruptions particularly. I'm not going to speak about Julie's speech. I'd like others to comment on that, but I would like to comment on how Julie handled the interruptions. One of the things with dealing with a difficult audience is that you know that you're going to be facing some difficulties. And in the case of Julie, she knew that she was going to have somebody who would be disrupting, but she didn't know how. And I think that she was genuinely startled when Mafud took a phone call in the middle of her presentation. But that is the sort of thing that will happen when you are giving a presentation. May I suggest, Julie, that when something like that happens, it would be useful to you to say, after Mafud had hung up, you know, Well, these things happen. Can I ask everybody to make sure that their microphone is muted so that we don't get interrupted again? And then just repeat the point that you were making beforehand. Because the way that it happened, you seemed startled. Then it was as if we're not going to, we shall never speak of this again, which is not dealing with the issue happening in the future. So make a joke and then say, hey, can everybody turn their microphone off or at least turn their phone off? When Michelle made an observation, you said, Michelle, that is a really valid observation. Well done. And that's what we need to do with disruptors. We need to acknowledge that they have an input, but tell them that we will deal with their issues later rather than allowing them to take control of the meeting. So, after the first disruption there by Mufid, you handled it quite well. You said, I'll answer that later, that's a really good point. And I really like with Michelle that you acknowledged that hers was a very valid observation, because even though she was being argumentative, you made her feel valued. So those are the observations that I would make about the distractions part of your presentation. Now, can I ask for members' comments on either how Julie handled those interruptions or on her speech as a whole? So once again, if I can have a show of hands.
Yes, Graham, let me jump right in because it's related to what you said. I was the arguer and my role was to argue, but I literally stopped arguing when Julie acknowledged me. So it just showed how powerful and how effective what she did was, because I lost my steam. I didn't want to argue anymore. So great job, Julie. Back to you, Graham.
Other observations from members? Show of hands. No, obviously you did a sterling job there, Julie, because nobody else has any observations to make to you. In that case, I will return to my role as evaluator and say, I think that your speech was an excellent presentation, even allowing aside the interruptions. I thought your speech was excellent. As I mentioned at the end of it, I found there was information there that I did not know. I was informed, I was enlightened, and I was encouraged by what you had to say. I also love the enthusiasm that you are showing for things like the new humour path. I'd love there to be a storytelling path, but apparently that's not next. The next one's going to be an advanced leadership module sometime later in the year. But hey, I'm going to keep pushing for storytelling. Congratulations on a great speech. I thank you for that. And well done on achieving, that's about your level 4, I believe, in that particular path. Woot. All right.